Thank you so much for having me. Good evening to the Democrats. I truly appreciate this opportunity to share worker stories, experiences, and concerns. Because the truth is, the voices of low-wage service workers are too often, ignored. And it is especially true when those workers are Black and they are brown. For SEIU Healthcare, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas, it was the vision, determination, and courage of 7 Black women. They were home care workers who sparked the movement that put them on a path of unity and power. See, these Black women who organized in that church basement were making only $1 an hour. They were sub-minimum wage workers because their work was considered non-traditional and was not valued by those in power. These women of color met in a church basement and voted to organize their union and organize more home care workers who wanted and deserved better wages, benefits, and higher standards of care. They wanted a path forward to a better life for themselves and their children. So because of their courageous activism, SEIU HCIIMK now unites more than 90,000 healthcare and childcare workers across 4 states. That's what this movement of workers and working families is all about, and why, especially in this moment, we need bold, visionary leadership, just like those Black women in the basement of that church, right in the people's house, the White House. Low-wage Black and brown workers make up a significant percentage of frontline healthcare and childcare workers who are called essential today, yet they aren't treated that way by the bosses. The reality is that these are the jobs of the future, and they must be jobs with decent wages, benefits, and healthcare that will lift these workers into the new middle class. Of course, we applaud those elected officials, like our governor and Governor Pritzker signed 15 into law in the state of Illinois, our amazing senators, Duckworth and Durbin, who have stood with these workers, putting people over profits. We know that the work for our members and working families in general is difficult and it's tough, and we really appreciate the courageous allies, even when times were not so good, who stood with working families. On the other hand, the current occupant of the White House has made it clear that he has no interest in talking with working people and about what they need at this time. Under Trump, the gap has increased between the super rich and the essential workers that keep our economy going, even in the midst of this deadly pandemic that has disproportionately impacted Black and brown workers. We support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because they have stood with working families time and time again. Most recently, Vice President Biden introduced his groundbreaking caregiving economy plan that will create jobs and increase pay for home care and child care workers and make it available to more people. It's important that we raise the wages of these Black and brown workers because in doing so, we help improve their communities. If Trump had asked Wellington Thomas, an ER tech at Loretto Hospital on Chicago's West Side, Wellington would have told him that his safety net hospital wasn't ready for COVID because the hospital was already dealing with pre-existing crises, a crisis of low wages, a crisis of disinvestment, short staffing. Child care provider Mary Carmen Macias would advise Trump on the needs of children who would be attending schools as they reopen, and the need of child care providers who will be charged with keeping the children safe while their parents work. What is needed for workers is to have a seat at the table where decisions are made about healthcare resources and funding so that our workplaces and our communities are in better shape tomorrow. And that's what we're looking for in the Biden-Harris ticket. Policies that provide a real seat at the table for working families. We have made some progress despite this pandemic, and there is no question that we have a long way to go, from a white supremacist in the White House to attacks on Black and brown protesters, We need someone who's willing to stand up on behalf of our communities now more than ever, and who understands that it is through unions for all, everyone, whether you are a home care worker, doesn't matter what your job is, that it is through unions for all that we're going to create the economy that works for all of us. Biden and Harris is the ticket for us. Thank you all.